Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm up at the Box Elder County Fair. It's a little bit windy, but we've got a tractor pull going on, and there's also a little bit of a tractor display. So we'll do probably 2 videos, one of the tractor pull, and then maybe next week we'll do one of the tractor display. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and stick around. This is a pretty cool tractor. This is, I mean, as you can see, it's a Caterpillar 22. However, this has the orchard seat set up on it. So you can see that while you're driving this thing, you're sitting way out behind the tractor, down low. That's fantastic. So that's a Caterpillar 22 Orchard. Little gas engine, obviously, 4-cylinder, and this is this massive, huge Eisman magneto. And I feel bad because someone once asked me to rebuild a magneto for them, and they're like, "Can you rebuild magnetos?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can help you out." And they drove all the way out to my place, and they brought me a big old magneto off of a Caterpillar, and it was too big to fit on my tester, and I was like, I can't do anything. And I felt so bad because they drove all the way out to my place, and I let them down. Anyway, that's a really cool tractor though. And then next to it, this is fantastic. Caterpillar 30 with this big old corrugated steel canopy on it. And look at this engine. You've got all of your cylinders just out here. These are probably for, it's an overhead valve, so these are probably for push rods going up into your engine. That's fantastic. That old carburetor. This is fantastic, and I got a video of this as he was driving past. You've got your old, look at this, copper or maybe brass data sheet riveted right here to the fenders. This is actually the 100 year of Caterpillar, and so that's why they've got a good showing of Caterpillars. Speaking of Caterpillars, this is a 1927 Caterpillar 20, and this is a really important tractor. You can go wide angle here. It's obviously it's really unique to look at. We've got these huge lamps on the front, but this is the first tractor. I was just talking to the owner. This is the first tractor that is all a Caterpillar design. Before that, like the 30 and stuff, it's more of a Best Holt design, whereas this is all Caterpillar's design. And if you look here, it is number, can you see that? It's upside down for you, but L6. L6. This is the 6th Caterpillar off of the line. Very low production, very low serial number. And so it's one of the very first tractors that Caterpillar ever made, and it has a lot of unique parts on it the owner was just telling me about. The gas cap here is really early. Very, very, very few of those. He says maybe only a couple of those even exist that he's aware of. After that, they went to a more integrated design like this. Another low production or early production thing that he was telling me about are these tracks. And I hadn't even noticed this when I was looking at it before, but these are actually hollow up inside of the grousers. So they're stamped. So up in there it's all hollow. Let's see it back here too. So really an early tractor. He said he had to piece this together out of about four other Model 20s. He did rebuild the engine on this. I'm going to show you the engine. I hope he doesn't mind. There you can see the engine, and he rebuilt each one of those cylinders. He had to bore that over 30 thousandths, and that was to match the pistons he had, but he didn't have a set of rings. But he was amazed. He found a set on eBay out of Nigeria for $100, $120, and they were shipped over here, and he was worried it might be a scam, but for $120 he was willing to take the, take the risk. And they showed up, and sure enough, new old stock piston rings still wrapped in the wax paper and everything. So a really cool tractor. Next to it is his Model 15. He knows so much more than I can remember when he was telling me about it. But this is one of 95 Model 15s, and this is a high crop 1D28. Move my shadow. 1D28. And this, like I said, there's 95 of these. Very low production numbers, or a very low production tractor as well. And this one has a, you can see here, it has a tow hook on the front of it. That's pretty unique. These really narrow tracks on it to fit down the vegetable rows. And then it has a new paper pulley on the back, but it does have the PTO mechanism back here. So, a really cool tractor. Little 4-cylinder flathead engine. Really cool. 100 years of Caterpillar. Here's your D6. Such a big tractor. Now we're getting into the big stuff where you got a big 6-cylinder diesel engine. Look at the size of this injection pump. Starting motor here. Let's look at the number on this. Oh, it's hard to see. I can't read it, guys. But you do have big, it's like a Christmas tree of hydraulic outlets, pumps. Coming out the back, you've got one pump here, operated by your levers up here. So as you're driving, you're reaching over your right hand shoulder, moving these laterally in and out to operate whatever you're pulling.
He has made one full. Looks like he is attempting a second effort.
That big old hook on the front of it. That is just straight beef. And then this is a D5B, but you can see it's a special application, meaning I believe it's for agricultural use only. This has never really had a blade on it, and you can see that there's not really provisions for a blade. This is just made for being out in the field pulling. I wonder if we've got, how many hydraulic outlets we've got. Yes, so we've got 2 sets of hydraulic outlets back here. Big old drawbar. Serial number 26X01096.
Nice pull, nice effort by Crew Turner on the 1942
Big, huge
Ford 8N.
rollover protection system on this canopy.
That tractor came out of Boise some time ago.
Well-used Caterpillar D4. I've heard people say that they cut holes in the tracks like this if you're working in snow and ice, because that helps extract the snow and stuff that builds up inside of the tracks. Here's your serial number right here. 7U37057. Would be a D47U. There's your controls. Here's a little D2. Not a pretty machine at all by any means, but probably one of my favorites. With your little 4-cylinder diesel, you got your pony motor back here, right here, that starts that up. Back here in the operator station, you've got your main clutch, I believe, and then your 2 steering clutches. There's your throttle. One thing I'm not sure about, possibly a Caterpillar expert could clue me in on this. This D2 has the diesel tank right here off on the fender, not in the seat back. Do all D2s have the fuel tank on the fender, or do some of them have them on the seat back? And when did they make that switch? Something I'll have to look up. Anyway, a really nice, fun little tractor. Definitely will get the job done. And here's a little Caterpillar 10. So I think this was the precursor to the 15 that's sitting right over there, I believe. But Caterpillar 10 looks very similar in size. See, this one has the hook on the front of this is obviously just a custom homemade hook. But to my untrained eyes, they look the same, you know. But I'm sure to the people that know what they're looking at, Caterpillar people, they could pick out all the differences. Oh yeah, here's a difference right here, the fuel tank. The other one, the fuel tank was kind of integrated in, whereas here it's a little bit different. Really cool. This is a power horse. This is the very first power horse that was built. I made a video of this last year talking about it. But exhibition or very first power horses made. And next to it, this is an International T40. This is probably about a 50 horsepower, 40s or 50 horsepower tractor. Such a big old behemoth. These tracks on that thing must be 18 inches wide. Big, huge 6-cylinder gas engine right here. And it runs so smooth. I heard this thing driving earlier, but it was just such a smooth running engine. Your belt pulley. Inside of here you have access, I believe, to probably your steering clutches. Up here is your operator station. This must be your throttle, your 2 steering clutches, gear shifter, and then that far brass topped lever over there is your clutch, must be. This is interesting. Your brakes are both right here. You don't have a left brake over on that side and your right brake on this side. You have both brakes right here. Here's your transmission right here. I'll get my shadow out of here. I don't think I can. You've got a 5-speed transmission where you've got low, second, third, fourth, and high. And there's your reverse. This must be for your PTO, or not your PTO, but your belt pulley back here. Man. I'm probably going to offend a lot of the Allis-Chalmers fans, but here we have the ugliest tractor that was ever built. No, I'm just joking, but these Model Gs are such a unique design where you have your little engine right back behind you, little 4-cylinder engine, and designed to just give you the ultimate visibility when you're cultivating. And I'll hand it to them. I mean, you do have perfect visibility when you're sitting here in the driver's seat and the crops you're taking care of are just right there at your feet. Cool old Allis Model G. Here's a fun little AR, very similar to ours, except this one is an unstyled. Let's go back and look at the operator station on this. Look at those lights. That's classic. Really pretty similar. Well, I think transmission's a little bit different on this guy. This one's got hydraulics. Ours does not have hydraulics. PTO. Here we have Farmall's smallest tractor, a little cub. The fun things about these are the magneto on this. This is a J4 magneto rather than an H4 magneto, and this tiny little 4-cylinder engine. It's a flathead versus the A's, this tractor's big brother, and it was built at the same time. The A had an overhead valve engine, but really tiny tractor. And the way that you can always pick out a cub, in my mind, is the distinctive seat where it just is on a spring post like that. This one's hooked up with two mounted plows. Well, two-way, one bottom plow. Next to it is a Farmall F20. This is back in the 30s. I don't know the exact year. 37. But then F20, I believe this was rated right at 20 horsepower. Very similar to our Farmall regular, but you can always pick out a F20 or an F30 over a regular because of the enclosed steering box there. And the super wide back end on these guys. Here's another cub. You can tell because of the seat post. And next to it, this is nice because you can see it, the size of a cub compared to the size of an A. It's bigger, like I say, it's big brother. Very similar, but you know, obviously this is larger. Here's the H4 magneto, like I mentioned, and there's your overhead valves. Then we move to a Super A. The Super A should have a distributor on it. Yep. So there's your distributor instead of a magneto. This one also has a hydraulic pump right here. So this one has hydraulics, whereas I don't know if the A ever came with hydraulics. I know that there were some aftermarket setups that you could do, but this one actually has hydraulics. This is a Ford Jubilee. I think it's probably a very important tractor in Ford's lineup just because this is, I believe, when they introduced their overhead valve engine. And the power jumped up from probably mid-20s up to 30 or maybe even 32. But a pretty important tractor, I think. And I think that styling on it. It was also for the 50th anniversary of the Ford Motor Company, I believe. Yeah, right here, 1903 to 1953. So they did a bunch of styling changes with their Ford trucks, I know. But then they also did a little bit of styling upgrades for their Ford tractors. A really pretty cool tractor. But back here looks very similar to the 9Ns and the 8N. Your steering clutches back here, those covers. Yep, I can see right here, International. Sorry, I don't know more about this one, but it's cool. And next to it is a little TD6, just like the one that we've got up at home. This is what we need ours to do. Is we need to get it running and get it out here to one of these shows. We can pull with it.
So on the near side, on the east side here, we have another Jordan tractor. The big one is moving south.
Next to it is another TD6. This one has a blade on it. And this is probably what we're going to end up doing with ours if and when we put the blade on it, is we'll probably have to put a auxiliary hydraulic pump like he's got back here. You don't have live power, but at least you have hydraulics that you can run the blade on it. So TD6 here. And the nice thing is, if you have your pump at the back, you don't have all of your hydraulic lines coming up over and running across the top of your tractor. But anyway.
The weight box has moved forward quite a distance, and he's still got...
This is a little Silver King. I believe that this used to belong to Garth Kidman. Fun tractor. I think these were made back in Ohio. Cool tractor. 4-cylinder Hercules engine. And this is model 77, maybe a Super 77. I think just a 77. Okay, it's later in the day right now, but before I ended, I wanted to just touch on a few more tractors, starting out with these two Allis-Chalmers dozers. These were here last year, and I talked a little bit about them. They also had what you have a loader, and then you have an ag version. And last year they had one that was just had a pusher blade on the front of it. But these are really pretty cool in my mind. Both of them have this 271 Detroit engine on it, and this one is set up for agricultural use, just for pulling. And then this one is set up with this loader on the front of it. So you can see the operator station here, where you have your two steering clutches. This is probably your main clutch, and you got your two brakes, and then that little lever right up there, that's your throttle, I assume. Then here's your hydraulic controls. Really a cool HD5. Okay guys, I think that's gonna do it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next week, same time, same place.